When we cover the Disney earnings call, it's always a fascinating experience. Some of them have been very dull and slow, like an annual shareholders meeting in which Bob Iger might have pre-recorded all of his statements after taking AI-generated questions that don't really leave anyone satisfied. Or this time, where Bob Iger seemed a little out of it, a little tired, a little bit more laid back, and then was caught on a hot mic admitting that maybe he said a few things that he shouldn't have said. Let's talk about the Disney Plus AVOD numbers and why Bob Iger thinks maybe he shouldn't have said what he said here on That Park Place. Let's go to this. Bob Iger made several mistakes on the call, but this is the most obvious one. Bob Iger has hot mic moment on Disney earnings call. I don't know if I was supposed to disclose those AVOD numbers. If somebody has the ad-supported numbers from Netflix that were just released, I know how much they are, but there's a headline for how many Netflix subscribers are ad-supported. Those AVOD numbers here. Disney CEO Bob Iger had a hot mic moment on the company's fiscal fourth quarter earnings call. This was released during the call, so good on deadline for getting on this quickly. Questioning aloud whether he should have revealed key streaming numbers. Fielding a question from a Wall Street analyst about the growth outlook and pricing strategy for Disney Plus, Iger divulged how many Disney Plus subscribers take the ad-supported tier in the U.S. and globally. The disclosure was unusual in the streaming sector. Netflix, for instance, has never broken out a similar percentage, preferring instead to report monthly active users of its ad tier, as it did earlier this week. Oh, well, I guess the headline is there. I've got it. Now, when the Q&A analyst moved to the next question, CFO Hugh Johnston was giving his answer. Iger's voice suddenly could be heard on the call. I don't know if I was supposed to disclose those AVOD numbers, he said, before Johnston continued speaking. Johnston did stop in order to let him speak, something we like to do here on That Park Place when we're all jumping all over each other to try to get the information out. There's a lot here about how all of this is good for Disney, and that's fine. And this isn't the only mistake that he made on the call. But one thing that we can do here, I need to make sure I'm on the right page of this earnings release. Forgive me. If we go over here to subscribers, over here, I think we're going to ignore Hotstar. Maybe they are bringing that in from a global standpoint, but looking at this, 66.7%. So we don't know if globally they're referring to just international, or if they're referring to the overall figures for Disney Plus Core when they say globally. But domestic, US and Canada, we're looking at 56 million subscribers. So what's the percentage here? So 56 million subscribers times, what was it? 37%?
Yeah, that's 37.
Yeah, 37.
Yeah.
Times 0.37. So they have 20 million subscribers in the US that are on the ad tier for Disney Plus.
And the significant part about that is that, Bob Iger and I believe even Hugh Johnston himself have said that this is the cornerstone of their business going forward, that this ad tier model will completely revolutionize them because they'll be able to sell ads from a plethora of advertisers, but only 20 million actually engaging in that. Yeah, I think Bob definitely messed up. I don't think he was supposed to reveal that at all.
So I'll also add that I'm going to go with the more generous number to Disney here. There it is, 70 million users 2 years after launch. Does this say how many are within the month of May right here? Because
they doubled their users year over year.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I'm going to go to Deadline because Deadline has the figure I was needing here. Right here, okay. Netflix is marking the 2-year anniversary of its launch of advertising by revealing that its ad tier now reaches 70 million monthly active users globally, up from 40 million as of mid-May. So if that's a 30 million user addition there. So if we go over here, 122 million Disney Plus Core subscribers, or maybe he's talking about the entirety here. They don't make much over here in India on these Hotstar figures. But if it's 122 million, then that means they have 36.6 million ad-supported users globally. That is, again, forgive me for geeking out here. I can't help but notice that 36 million is less than 40 million. So just the gains on the Netflix ad tier are very close to outpacing, depending on how we count this, or have outpaced the Disney Plus ad revenue aspect. So culture, Vash, Marvin, do you guys know why Disney Plus desperately needs to have ad-based users?
Because it doesn't make money.
That's a good way to put it.
And it needs to make money.
They spend too much money on content, which in they're going to spend $24 billion in content this next year. Do you realize that I think their total revenue, according to these numbers, or the expected revenue anyway, they make like just a little over 22 billion in a quarter. So they're spending one quarter. They're spending one quarter of their total revenue for the year on content
and on a streaming service that, well, I'll just be frank. Disney Plus. Nobody watches Disney Plus.
No.
Every now and then they'll put something on there that people are going to watch anyways. In fact, they put Deadpool and Wolverine on Disney Plus. It should be on Hulu if you want the viewership. It should be on Hulu, and they make more money on Hulu. And again, I
because of the ads
all the time. This is average monthly revenue
ARPU
per said subscriber for the quarter ended. It's ARPU, but that's always usually just a chuckle to point that out. By the way, it went down. Why did it go down? Because Disney did this massive push for $2 a month subscriptions at the same time that they raised prices on the people who aren't paying attention to their bank statements. They raised prices by 20% while also saying at 25%. They raised it by 25% and then did a deal for, by the way, for 25% of the price, if you have a new account, you can have Disney Plus for 3 months. I think they also ran that in the international non-India regions here. So they went down by 4 cents per user. Not a huge deal. They went up in international, and it's $7.70 per user. But down here for Hulu, $12.54 per user on Hulu. This is where the money is made, right here. That $12.50 per user on Hulu. So they have fewer subscribers in the United States for Hulu, but they make more money on Hulu in the United States. Also, this is a good time to point out that international right here, this is Disney and Hulu together. So just slapping that Disney name on Hulu content, automatically they take a hit on profitability. So,
and they want to talk about how we have our new guy in there, CTO Adam Smith. Now he's really revolutionizing our business. He's hard at work making progress and improving tech across all our streaming media. He's working on personalization, customization, improving engagement. We've seen increased engagement already. We're going to have recommendations, don't you know, Jonas? So we're going to have password sharing and all these different things.
Yeah, he's hunting you down if you give your grandmother your password.
Yes, exactly. Yes, him personally as well. But it's very clear by examining these numbers right here that you know, when you talk about the subscriber gains, the dramatic subscriber gains in Netflix, when you talk about how well that business is functioning, even with their content spend, I mean, it's clear that they're just not achieving the same gains that Netflix is that they should be, and it's clear that they overspend on content. That's a big part of it, and that's why the ad revenue tier is so crucial, because they have to offset their operating costs. But it's clear that they just simply don't have the content that people want to engage in. You can have all your fancy doodads attached to your app. You can incorporate ESPN Plus, which apparently they're going to do as well, but it all comes down to whether or not people are going to want to engage in this content going forward. I think this is why a lot of people are speculating that they might implement pausing at a certain point rather than just outright cancellations. I guess Hulu already does pausing, because I think they're worried about churn in the long term.
Well, I think churn's already a massive issue for them, and it's another reason why they've been not exactly touting the fact that they are getting a bunch of users from the cable deals, the access deals, the carriage deals, in that way. They never talk about it publicly, how exactly they track those particular users. I think we've tried to figure it out multiple times. I don't know, Jonas, you ever figured that out?
They include them in the figures for
okay.
paid
All right.
subscribers if
Okay.
they
All right.
they make it. Yeah, I started reading. I went through the notes, and they're making
Okay.
it clearer than they were. But
Okay.
when we talk about people don't watch Disney Plus content, here's data here for those of you who are doubting. Here, always, in God we trust. All others bring data. Let's go over here to Luminate. Here, Marvel's missteps. This from November 1st of this year, just 2 weeks ago. Maybe if I blow this up, it'll let us jump in here. Okay, so Agatha all along is I'm going to say more of a success than other Disney Plus Marvel series have been in the past. Right now, they're tracking them at 1.4. I'm thinking this is minutes watched here, or maybe this is views. I don't know which it is. We're comparing numbers to similar numbers here. So I'm not saying Disney's lying in their numbers. They're being deceptive in their numbers. I'll say that. But right here's episode 1 and episode 2. So combined, big day for Agatha. Big spike up here, and there's a dip, and then it rises. So between, what is this, episode 4 and episode 6, there was a rise in viewership here. I'm hearing that episode 7 had a rise in viewership, so it should be up. But the thing that we really want to focus on here, and if Agatha has success, I guess they found their audience over there for the things they want to talk about. This is a chart provided by Luminate for Marvel series views in the first 26 weeks of activity. Here is Moon Knight, starring Oscar Isaac. And then right after that, most popular in this era is She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Then Secret Invasion is even less. Then Loki season 2 is even less. We have this blip of Miss Marvel, which was kind of previous here. It just didn't hit at all. And then we have Echo, X-Men 97, What If season 2. It seems like Disney is not doing well on Disney Plus with their investment in these large, we're hearing $200 million series that they're putting on Disney Plus, and they're not making $200 million back when they do this. This quarter is the first quarter that they have shown not a Disney Plus profit, because they still haven't said Disney Plus is profitable, but a Disney Plus and Hulu combined profit. Mm-hmm. So, and that can be done with accounting shenanigans. So, and I say shenanigans, fully legal shenanigans, but shenanigans nonetheless. So,
especially if you like include like ESPN Plus, for example, right, where the content production is not nearly as maybe expensive as these big shows right here, that could offset your profit and loss too. So they're definitely playing around with some stuff to make this division that, a lot of investors see as the future of this business, and Disney themselves sees as the future more profitable than it is. Go ahead.
I just always like to point out, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, Vash, but I always like to point out that we now have actual viewership data that we can count on, rely on. It's not just Luminate, who's doing a good job, by the way, but we actually, the Nielsen data is bulletproof now. That's the thing most people, they still don't understand, especially shill media. Disney Plus is automatically tracked by Nielsen by default. Default. If you have Disney Plus anything, a tab on your TV, something on your set-top box like your Roku, if you have it on your phone, your PC, whatever, whenever you log into Disney Plus, you are automatically tracked by Nielsen, unless you, the consumer, goes and turns it off. That's
very true. And who's going to go in the background and do something like
nobody.
that?
I just went there to confirm that wasn't bologna sausage when it started to come out, and then I talked about it far and wide, because everybody who says, well, you don't know, how do you know that? I know that because the numbers are given to you. Mm-hmm. Yes, they're done in arrears. Yes, they're not exactly, they could give them in real time. We could know the next day if you actually wanted to. Disney does not want you to know that.
And it does seem to be bearing out that Luminate's data is in sync with Nielsen's data.
It is.
In a general sense. So when they have it, and it boggles my mind that currently the top 10 list on Disney Plus, they're trying to say what is the most popular thing on their platform, and they have deleted Bluey off of that list when Bluey is the most popular show on Disney Plus and possibly the most popular show in streaming consistently in the United States. And it appears nowhere on that list. They're trying to say that their franchises like Super Kitties are beating Bluey. They've erased it so they're not embarrassed. So currently they're trying to say that The Making of Deadpool is more popular on Disney Plus than Bluey, which is falderall here.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.